Hello guys, it is that time of the month again and I am a little bit tardy, but I'm gonna go through my favorite products from the month of February 2019 and I'm gonna start with skincare and then move on to makeup. The first items I want to mention today is actually a series of skincare, and that is the new Sulwhasoo Bloomstay Vitalizing range. Now, if you are not in Asia, this line has very recently become available on Beautylish. I saw it on there, so if you want to try out some of the products from the Sulwhasoo range, I highly recommend it. I think if you had to pick just one item out of the entire range, I would go with the serum. This is an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory skincare line which is designed to help with first signs of aging. So if you are in your mid-20s to early 30s, you want to start taking care of your skin and you don't mind investing a little bit, this is a range that I actually am really pleased with. I consider myself very lucky. I am very pampered in that I do receive quite a lot of skincare to try out. But most of the time, I would prefer to invest my money in more science-based products, things that have glycolic acid or vitamin C or salicylic acid, very data-backed ingredients. Now, if you followed me for any significant period of time, you know that I am not the type to go around touting or pushing really expensive luxury skincare because I tend to consider these more of an indulgence than an investment. You buy it because you want to pamper yourself, and to be honest, unless you have quite dry skin, most of the time you will not see very immediate results because these are not the kind of skincare products that contain, like 20% vitamin C or 10% glycolic acid, that kind of stuff. To put it very plainly, the claims made by brands about luxury products like these tend not to be very well backed up by a lot of scientific evidence or data. Naturally, I was very reluctant to include this line in my favorites this month, but I really have to say, when I used these for a few days straight, I was actually surprised at how healthy my skin looked. It wasn't sallow, it wasn't tired looking, I didn't look drained. It looked like I had a little bit of a flush to my skin. It felt extremely comfortable, very smooth, not greasy, not heavy. My skin just looked like I had cut all the sugar out of my diet, gotten 8 hours sleep for 2 weeks straight, gotten my vegetables and fruits in, drank tons of water every day, and I hadn't. So make of it what you will. In the end, no matter what it is, these are still indulgences more than investments. You could very well just go to the drugstore and grab a nice rich moisturizer of your dry skin. But I really do love the feel of this. And for the salty people out there who always wonder what I would buy if I had to pay for this with my own money, I would get the cream. Personally, I would get the cream because I would spend my money on something like a vitamin C serum or glycolic acid toner as the active part of my skincare regime, and then I would buy the cream just to sort of pamper and nourish and seal in everything on top of my skin. Now, the other product line that really wowed me because it really showed results in just about 1 week or so was the PeterThomasRoth Potency Power Serum and Eye Cream. Now, I will just begin by saying that these belong in that rare category of products where I use it for a few days straight, look in the mirror and then decide, I am going to repurchase this when I run out. No questions asked. This is a 20% THD ascorbate vitamin C serum. Now, a lot of vitamin C serums are made with water-based vitamin C derivatives like L-ascorbic acid. The problem with water-based vitamin C serums is, one, they tend not to absorb as quickly or as deep into the skin. So they sit on the surface, they are acidic, they tend to irritate people with sensitive skin. And two, they aren't really going deep enough or in high enough concentrations to really do the skin repair and skin regeneration that vitamin C is known for. So depending on the formulation, you may sometimes just be wasting money on vitamin C that's just not going deep enough to do all the corrective work that you want it to do. THD ascorbate is a newer form of vitamin C derivative, which is oil soluble. So that means it can go in and absorb through your pores, deeper into the layers of your skin. It doesn't sit on the surface, it's not acidic, it does not irritate your skin's surface. It is more bioavailable because it absorbs more efficiently and further into the deeper layers of your skin, where it can actually work on helping to stimulate collagen production and also to repair photo damage, uneven pigmentation, clarifying your skin tone and all that. So a while back, when we first saw this at Sephora's press day in Singapore, a few of us were actually sitting around over coffee talking about how realistic it could be when we were looking at their before-after photos. In just a couple of weeks, we were seeing images of people with fine lines being diminished, pigmentation being removed, and we were like, it's not possible, is it? And then I used it for a few days and I could really see a difference in my skin tone and texture. I do have a few fine expression lines across my forehead here because of emoting. And usually the only way that these fine lines would not be visible when my face is in its resting position is if I have a little bit of Botox done around my forehead. I don't have Botox on now and my forehead is completely smooth. The other thing is, I did get a tan a while ago and it is still extremely hot these days, and I'm out and about most days, walking around getting sun exposure constantly. So for the past 2 months or so, I've actually been too tan to use a lot of my regular foundations. And just in the past week of using this, my skin tone has brightened up so much that I can no longer wear certain foundations I was matched to just a few weeks ago. Now, it usually takes me 2, 3, 4, even 6 months for my tan to fade because I'm still constantly being exposed to the sun on a daily basis. So for this to have been able to fade my tan noticeably with just 1 week of twice daily use, it really shows that this is working and it is very powerful. Now, if I had known that the results would be so visible, I would have taken before pictures, but I really was not expecting it at all. I've been testing vitamin C after vitamin C product in the past few months, so I really wasn't expecting a noticeable difference in such a short span of time. So I do highly recommend this. Now, as for the eye cream, this is 10% THD ascorbate instead of 20, so it's slightly gentler, a little bit lower dosage for the eye area, but it also contains 3% vitamin E, same as this, and 2% ferulic acid. Now, what the vitamin E and ferulic acid do is they are antioxidants in their own right. They all work sort of like boosters to enhance each other's effects and stabilize each other. So it not only makes the same amount of vitamin C work better, it helps it to work longer in your skin. So they're really maxing out the potency of the vitamin C in this formula, but without any irritation. I didn't get any amelia, I didn't get any sensitivity, I didn't get any eczema or red spots around my eyes like I tend to do with other eye creams. I obviously have not used this long enough to be able to see extremely visible results around the eye area yet. This could be one of the few eye creams that actually would be able to help with some of the dark pigmentation around my eyes. PeterThomasRoth also has a concentrated spot targeting serum in this line as well, which I haven't tried, but I'll get down to it ASAP and let you guys know how that goes. Of course, if you have to spend on just one item in the line, I would say stick with the 20% serum. I have spread it close to the eye area around the outer corners and didn't have any irritation at all. So I dare say you could technically, pat a teeny tiny amount around the eye area as well if you're not particularly sensitive. I have not been so impressed with the skincare product since I used Sunday Riley Good Genes and Alpha H Liquid Gold Glycolic Acid Toner. So those are two other holy grails in my skincare regime that I will repurchase and have repurchased multiple times. Now, I've been testing foundation after foundation after foundation in the past month or two, and strangely enough, the one that I have been reaching for quite a bit is good old Revlon Colorstay Full Cover. Among all the expensive foundations that I've been using, I've just been reaching for this more simply because I can rely on it to last for an entire day without fading, without breaking down, without emphasizing any of my skin texture around the oily zones. I do love me a good full cover foundation. However, most days I still prefer that very very weightless, textureless look of something that's more medium coverage. So with this one, I never feel like my skin texture is very obvious at the end of the day. It just sits beautifully. It looks like nothing on the skin. It has nice coverage. It's buildable, but it doesn't emphasize any pores. It doesn't make me look or feel overly dry either. So when you consider pricing and everything else, this just is an all-round winner for me. The only problem, of course, is the shade range. It is Dismal. There are 5 shades in Singapore, but if you can find a shade, I do suggest trying this one out. It's a little bit of a sleeper hit for me because I went in expecting to really hate this. But I've reached for this more than any other foundation in the past month, and that is really saying something because I've tested some good stuff the past few weeks. Now the last complexion product is a JillStuart blush, and this is the shade 04. This is one of their new duos, and I love the raspberry pink. Oh my god, look at that. So you have one side which is a pearlescent pink. It's not quite pale enough to be a highlighter on my skin tone, but I do like swirling it together with the matte raspberry pink here just to soften the color. This is one of those blush products that can look really intense or quite soft depending on how you apply it. I like to go in with an ultra fluffy brush like this one because I don't like that stripe of pink right there. So I'll tend to swirl these together, just very lightly sweep over the entire cheek area just to get that tiny bit of color, and then I'll go in again, mix the colors around, and then pat right in the middle of the cheek area where I want more intensity. So you have this sort of gradient kind of blooming from within kind of color with a little bit more intensity right in the middle, and that is just so pretty. It's a very Japanese style kind of a look. It's very doll-like, it's very girly. Lips. I do have quite a few favorites in past month when it comes to lips, and one of these is ShuUemura's Reset. Now this is a tint remover lip conditioner, and it's a very strange sort of lightweight liquid gel formula that you are supposed to apply to bare lips that are stained, obviously, and you leave it on for a few seconds and then you start massaging a little bit, and then after that I will use like a baby wipe or a makeup remover wipe and just lightly rub over your lips, and it takes out those really stubborn rosy pink stains that you get from liquid dyes when you apply very strong colored lipsticks. This has been an absolute godsend for me when I was lip swatching all this HERA and ShuUemura lipsticks, because those were really red and really vibrant, and there was stains. There was some serious staining going on. This knocked that color right out, and they were not kidding when they called it Reset, because it does reset your lips to their original color. Traditionally, I would have used maybe a little bit of lip balm to sort of try and clean up my lips and then wipe off some residue, but lip balm doesn't really quite dissolve some of the liquid dyes that have worked their way into your skin. So this one is designed specifically to take those out the way that lip balm can't. The next lip item was more of a surprise to me than anyone else in the world, and that is Tarte's Zing. Now this is one of those clear lip plumpers that you apply, and you know, it sort of works its way into your lips, it tingles a little bit, it stings just a teeny tiny bit, and then it plumps your lips up supposedly. The amount of pain and stinging you would need to cause to make your lips actually look fuller than they are naturally, visibly fuller, would be insane. So typical lip plumpers just give you a lot of discomfort without any visible, noticeable difference. I mean, be honest, how many of you have applied a lip plumper, taken a picture, and then seen a visible difference? Or applied a lip plumper, gone out, and have people say, oh my god, your lips look so full? It's probably close to zero. So I've never really believed in lip plumpers, and I hate the feel of them. Too Faced lip injection. Oh my god, that was one of the worst. So I spent years avoiding them until Dior came up with Lip Maximizer. And that one I use in a very specific way. I don't believe it actually makes your lips look bigger than they are, but I will use it in the middle of the day. You know, if you've worn your lipstick for like 6 to 8 hours, your lips are looking really parched, really dry, and really wrinkly, and you don't want to apply fresh lipstick on top of that because it just wouldn't look good. I will remove my lipstick, apply a little bit of Lip Maximizer, so It sort of resets your lips and plumps it back to its original condition, the healthy condition. No bigger than it was naturally, but just fuller and not quite as parched and dry looking as it was before. Then I'll kiss it off and reapply lipstick on top of that, because that's what it's good for. This does that, but like 5 times faster than Lip Maximizer. And it doesn't sting too much. It does use jellyfish extract or something like that. I'm not sure if it's jellyfish venom. I need to go check that out. But what it does is it really does smooth out the lips, but it also seems to give lips a nice little healthy pink flush at the same time. It is not as sticky as Lip Maximizer. This is a very light, very liquid oil. So it doesn't sit on top of your skin or your lips in that very thick, sticky layer. It feels very comfortable, and I just personally find this to work faster, look nicer on its own, and also to feel nicer than Lip Maximizer. So this is my go-to right now. I don't think many of you would be that surprised to hear me say that I am in love with the HERA Sensual Intense Velvets. I do love the glazes as well, but I find it's easier to dupe those or get a similar effect with lip glosses or lip lacquers from any other range. I just love the velvets because of the texture, how easy it is to wear them sheer, how easy it is to build them up if you want opacity, how easy it is to do ombre lips, gradient lips, very sheer matte powdery tint, or full-on painted lips. It's just such a flexible sort of formula for doing different kinds of lip effects, and I love the color range. That's the other thing. Like, they didn't do a straight coral. They had a coral with a hint of orange yellow in there, and it wasn't a raspberry pink. There was a tiny hint of a tomato orange in there as well. So there are a lot of very unique undertones and overtones in many of these shades in Sensual Intense Velvet range. So I really suggest going to the store and swatching these, trying them out, and seeing how they actually sit in your skin, because they look very, very different out of the tube. Do not try and gauge what color it's going to be just based on what you see in the package. But the last thing is also lip range, and these are the new Sephora Collection Lip Rouges. I've always liked Sephora's lipsticks, but they revamped the line very recently, and they have a new glaze formula, gloss formula, matte formula, satin formula. I'm wearing one of the mattes today, and this is just the most beautiful color. It's the most beautiful texture as well. Look at this shade. See, instant payoff. This is a satin. It's a beautiful neutral kind of color. Glaze, which I also happen to love because glossy lipsticks are kind of in right now. Beautiful buttery textures. So if you're looking for value for money in very nice, very trendy colors, I would not pass these by. Just go to the Sephora Collection section and swatch some of these. You might be very, very pleasantly surprised. The thing is, I've already been a fan of the Sephora Collection lip products for the past few years. I think they really stepped it up, and they're giving really good formulations and very trendy colors for a very, very good price in this day and age. But I was just surprised how much better the new line, the updated line is, and I was mind blown. These are straight up high-end lipsticks at drugstore pricing, so there is zero reason not to go and check these out, regardless of whether you are on a budget or not. I am probably going to keep revisiting the next month or so, and I'm just probably going to keep picking up more colors and more colors because they are not that expensive. So that is it for my February favorites video. It really was a month where I focused a lot on skin and complexion and lips, bright, strong lips. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have particular favorites, please share them with me below. I will see you in the next one.